I need all the wins, yeah. Ain't no L's, I gotta get a no call and quits, yeah. Gotta keep on moving no matter how hard it gets, yeah. Better move out the way cause I'm coming with harder hits. My head is as hard as a brick, but I'm harder than all of this.
Alright, so I finally picked up a Honda Grom, and it's actually something that I've wanted for a long time. I've been kind of looking for them for a couple of years now, and a deal finally popped up, so I had to jump on it. My phone lights up and it's my buddy Scotty. He sent me over some pictures that he had from the repo yard, and it just happened to be a 2020 Honda Grom. So if this was your bike before, I apologize, but it's mine now. Now, she doesn't look too bad from the right side. We've got a nice aftermarket exhaust, which is about $70 off of Amazon, I found out. We've got some nice little levers right here, some adjustable levers. But we do have this really nice aftermarket seat. I don't know what brand this thing is, but this is not stock. This aftermarket probably added a couple horsepower. And then we get into the left side of the bike where we've got a little bit of damage down here, but I've got to hook up to get a new set of these little fairing pieces, and I'm going to order some new levers because this one is bent, but other than that, the thing is pretty clean. That's the introduction to the new Grom. Welcome to the family, Grommy. Let's go for a ride.
This is the Honda Grom, the 2020 Honda Grom. We're just out here mobbing today with all of the horsepower that this thing does not provide. In order to do that, we need some fuel, so we're going to stop and get some gas. I can only assume this thing's going to take only like $70 with today's gas prices. We got some high dollar 93 going in.
$3, that's not bad.
So this particular model is actually a fancy one. It is the ABS model. From what I'm reading, that will not affect the abilities to do wheelies, but it will stop you from doing stoppies. I guess I'm not going to be doing stoppies on this bike unless I can disable it. That's a video for another day because I have not even figured out how to keep it on the back wheel. So we'll see what the future brings. The other thing that this particular one lacks right now is I have no mirrors, and I like having mirrors. A lot of guys will tear the mirrors off their bikes right away and go without, but for me, I like to know what's going on behind me, and unfortunately I can't do that right now. And one thing, even at an idle, and this thing's got, again, like the $70 Amazon exhaust on it. But if you don't have your shield up, or if you're listening to music, it sounds like the bike just died. Like, it's how quiet it is. And then when you're actually riding, it's actually it's pretty annoying. Legit sounds like a lawnmower. But overall, let's talk about the Grom. Who is the Grom for? Who should get a Grom? Who should not get a Grom? I mean, honestly, that's kind of subjective. I can't really answer that entirely, but from my perspective, I feel like the Grom is suited for a handful of different people. I feel like since it is set up exactly like a larger motorcycle, I feel like it could be a great beginner bike, only for the fact that you can get them for pretty cheap, and if you were to wreck it or lay it down, who cares? It's about 200 pounds. It still has a gearbox, so you're shifting like a big bike, you're riding it like a big bike. All your controls are exactly the same. So if you've never ridden a motorcycle before, or gone through the gear changes or anything like that, you know, using your hands and your feet and everything to control the machine, and you're wanting to learn, this could be a great bike for that. Now, yes, you're gonna get bored with it soon if it's your first motorcycle, which is fine, but it's a fairly low investment to learn with, and that's why I feel like this could be a great learner bike. If I was a parent and I had a kid that wanted to get into motorcycles, this is probably what I'd buy them first, no matter what their age is, only because it allows you to, again, operate something very similar to an older bike, mainly because it allows you to operate a machine like this, and it's going to be the same. It's going to transition over to a larger motorcycle fairly easily, aside from the size and all that stuff. But as far as the controls and everything, it's a great way to learn, a cheap way to learn. Another person that this bike could be beneficial to is people who travel. Even if you're a truck driver, again, this thing's 200 pounds. You can load it on the back of your truck and you could use it for cruising around the truck stop or going to grab a bite to eat or whatever the case is. Or if you're traveling in an RV, this you could put on your they have those what is it, like the bumper hitch little mounts for motorcycles and stuff. This thing would be easy to load up and just take everywhere with you. So you could set up your campsite, and then you could run to the store quick with a backpack, get some supplies. This would be great for that. I'm gonna try to get through this light. Made it. It's just so fun to mop around on this thing. And then another person that this could be useful for is someone like me who's got a big bike and just wants something to mop around on, you know? This is kind of like a good, I don't know where I'm going. We're gonna go this way. But the bike could be a good fit for somebody like myself who has other motorcycles and you know, just looking for something just to have some fun on, some cheap fun at that, you know. There's a lot of things that I miss doing. I grew up out on the farm, and we had like four-wheelers and a little dirt bike and stuff like that, which is a ton of fun. But where I live now, it's kind of hard to have those things because I can't just go ride them. I'd have to go travel someplace, and I just don't want to do all that. So this is like the next best thing. Actually, like a supermoto would be perfect, which I might get one of those someday, but for now we're gonna play with the Grom. Downside to the Grom is that you just want to ride wide open everywhere because it feels so slow, but you realize that things will still do 60 miles an hour, and at least where I live, 60 miles an hour is over the speed limit. So I'm kind of speeding about everywhere with this thing, but you don't feel like it. So yeah, and people pass you still, even though you're speeding. So you don't feel so bad, I suppose. The rideability of this thing is interesting. It's actually a little bit, it's comfortable. It's small, but you can tell that they built it for a full-size user. You know, it's not like a kid bike. It really isn't. You're very upright. It's comfortable. Your handlebar location is pretty good. It does feel a little bit, I guess the best way to explain the actual feel of it, it feels like you're riding a 2x4 with handlebars attached to it. That's kind of how it feels. Like legit. It feels like you're riding a 2x4. I think I want to get some like traffic cones and stuff like that, and set up like a little road course in a parking lot and just kind of rip around. And I'm curious to see how this will feel treating it like a MotoGP bike. Now the advantages to having a Grom as a bike in general is that it's a lot of fun. It's just fun to, in my opinion, it's a lot of fun to ride a slow machine fast. And so that's where this thing kind of comes into play, you know. It'll top out at 60 miles an hour. I've had this thing up to, I think it was 66, but that was going downhill, full tuck. It looked ridiculous, but it was a lot of fun. So it's not the fastest bike, but for around town, it could be perfect. If you live in a small town, this thing would be perfect. If you live in like a more like a city area, this would be perfect. Like if you lived in Chicago, I think that this would be a great little bike just to bomb around on. Honestly, I think it'd be a blast. Let's go this way. Keep forgetting I don't have mirrors. Another nice thing is all the parts are extremely cheap, like legit cheap. Like I bought, so the kit that I got from TST Industries, which basically takes care of all of the lighting on the thing, was only 200 bucks for the whole kit, all the wiring, everything. Incredible. As far as like body panels and levers, the levers I ordered, now you can get more expensive levers obviously. The ones I ordered were like $35, and they look just as good as the more expensive ones. So the fairings alone, like the pieces up here, are like $25 brand new from Honda. Wheels and tires are like 60 bucks. The brakes are like $7. Like it's really crazy how cheap the parts are for this. So as like a new rider, or just a young rider, you know, there's a lot of young kids that are wanting to get into motorcycles and they can't really handle a bigger bike. This would be a great option, honestly. Like if I had this thing when I was you know, 15, 16 years old, that'd have been a great way to start. And then, you know, the other advantage to a Grom is that the aftermarket parts, like, selection for this bike is incredible. Like, there are more aftermarket parts for the Honda Grom than anything, honestly. I mean, it might have the Busa beat when it comes to aftermarket parts. At least it'd be really, really close. And everybody knows that they make everything for the Hayabusa. And the Grom kind of fell in line with that. And they have so many different parts for this thing. You can stretch them out. You can do big bore kits, different handlebars, lights, wheels, and tires, and the list goes on. I mean, you can really do anything. You get very, very creative and make these things your own, which I think is very, very cool. Should we see how fast we can do a 0 to 60? It's probably not the best place to do it, but we're wide open. We're not gonna do all the way. It's fast. It's fast. Of course, there's a cop right there. If I get pulled over on the Grom, I don't know. That'd be a first for everything, I suppose. The other nice thing about the Honda Grom is it's actually fuel injected too, which is kind of impressive for such a small motor. It's a 125, and honestly, I would expect it to be carbureted still, but they fit some fuel injection technology on this, and it makes a huge difference, you know. You don't have to play with the jetting or anything like that. It's a very simple machine. It's really, and it's a Honda, so you know that it's gonna run. All you gotta do your oil changes once in a while, and ride it, keep the battery alive, and you'll be good to go. The other nice thing about this little bike, so like where I live, I'm in the Tampa area, but I live like close to the beaches. So right down the road, I've got this long strip called Gulf Boulevard, which is a very slow paced 2-lane road that just kind of goes along the beaches and stuff. We've got the beaches that are all over there and everything. You can't really see it because we have all these rich people's houses and stuff in the way. But this is a great bike just to cruise around. I wouldn't bring the S1000 down here just because you're in first gear the whole time. You're uncomfortable. It's just not that much fun. But on this, it's just a nice little cruiser bike, you know? It's a nice little Sunday stroll. Unfortunately, the market is very, very high right now, so it's probably not the best time to buy them. But if you go to the marketplace on Facebook and set alerts for the Honda Grom so that you'll be the first to be notified when these things become available from people. And who knows what kind of deal you're gonna get, you know. The other thing you can do is you could probably call around and look at some of the impound lots. Sometimes these guys have them and they're in the process of getting titles, and if you make an offer, a cash offer, before anybody else, you might be able to get a great deal with it. And that's kind of what I did with this thing. Just have an insider, I got my boy Scotty, who kind of, he's like, hey, you should buy this thing. At first I was like, no, and then I slept on it, and then yeah, no, here we are. We got a Grom. Look at this guy. But anyway, if you're still with me, I appreciate you. If you have any tips for the Honda Grom, or know of any good websites or places to get some aftermarket parts, or really anything Grom related, leave a comment below, because I don't know how deep into the Grom world I'm gonna dive into, but so far I'm just having fun on this thing. But anyway, until next time.
You better move, you might get knocked out. Knocked out. You better move, you might get knocked out. Knocked out. You better move, you might get knocked out. Knocked out. You better move, you might get knocked out. Knocked out. My heart on my sleeve, stress, shit on my greed. That's how I get it. Success ain't no giving. Some days I don't eat, I don't sleep.